Looking and looking again with the master painter. 86 in December, Lucian Freud has rarely been filmed. Television interviews are rarer still. That famously penetrating gaze is usually reserved for his sitters. But one great mythological painting, and the campaign to save it for the nation, has encouraged him out of the shadows. Titian painted Diana and Actaeon over a 3-year period from 1556 to 1559. It was a commission from Philip II of Spain. The hunter Actaeon surprises the goddess Diana and her nymphs in a water glade. You've described it as being one of the most beautiful pictures in the world.
Well, obviously I haven't seen that many pictures in the world because I haven't travelled about, but for me, I can't imagine anything more beautiful, really.
Anyone interested in art is familiar with the face and that direct, mesmerizing gaze. In his long career, there have been many self-portraits from his mid-20s onwards. He's been unflinching, as pitiless in his representation of himself as he has with any of his sitters. But if the situation is beyond his control, he instinctively shields himself with the left hand he uses to paint. Here was a gathering of the 24 members of the Order of Merit last year. As it happens, the Queen used the photograph as a Christmas card. The light in room 1 at the National Gallery in London was subdued to protect the Titian, but given Freud's evident aversion to lenses and lights, we used basic gear, a single light and a small, unintrusive handheld camera. I mean, it's very carefully composed.
Yes, but it doesn't look it, and then even though I'm not literally minded, I immediately think of myself as this man.
As Actaeon?
Yes, but as Actaeon in the picture. Psychologically it works so well because the silliness of the man is just enough to believe. Do you know
what that gesture?
Yes, and his rather questionable assumption that he has any effect on their behavior.
And the models, do you suppose he had more than one model?
Thinking of it like that, probably not. I don't, on the other hand, think that the same girl was in different positions and that's how they're depicted. If you think of it and look at them, it may well have been the same model. When something's really convincing, I don't think about how they were done. I think of them as the effect on me.
In reproduction, and now seeing it in the flesh, one's immediately struck by the colours.
Yes.
This is a fantastically rich palette.
Yes. I don't know, I never think like that. Because when colours work, I think of them as the colour of life rather than coloured.
I was going to ask you whether you imagine the painter painting it.
No, I couldn't. I was thinking just now, absolutely not, no. But then with really convincing pictures, that one thing, for me, one thing they have in common, how could this have been painted? Because it's convincing on a level that you feel it must always have been like this.
Inspiring Titians must be saved for the nation. A recent letter to the Times backing the campaign by the National Galleries in London and Edinburgh to acquire Diana and Actaeon and another great Titian from the Duke of Sutherland. Lucian Freud was the first name on the list of 63 signatories. Nicholas Penny, the director of the National Gallery and a Titian scholar, joined us in room 1. As it happens, Freud hasn't seen all 6 paintings in the Titian mythology cycle.
I'm not scholarly in that way because on the whole I go and see pictures rather like going to the doctor to get some help, in fact.
Do you go to particular pictures?
Yes.
When you come here?
Exactly, and that's what's so nice having a National Gallery pass. I can go along and see actually particular things.
So do you revisit the same pictures?
Yes.
You can always find Freud's work in our public collections. There's also currently a small show at a commercial gallery in St. James's. He's painted a portrait of the Queen. He's known for his nudes, for his way of painting flesh. To his apparent amusement, he's currently the most expensive living artist at auction, $33 million for benefit supervisor sleeping at Christie's in New York in May.
Do you think your own work has been influenced in any way by Titian in particular?
I would have thought not, but I've always had a natural, or perhaps unnatural, resistance against being influenced by things. And I like looking at them and taking them in, but if I thought they had emerged in some way that related to what I was looking at, I wouldn't feel free about working like that.
Do you think it's a sensuous picture?
I think all good pictures are sensuous. I mean, I think Constable is sensuous, even though he doesn't do lots of naked people.
There is a campaign to keep it alternating between Edinburgh and London.
Yeah.
There is a danger this might go to auction.
Well, as a Londoner, I obviously like it to be as available as possible.
And it's nice to see in Scotland too.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've seen it. Well, I quite like the idea of it staying here forever.
Yes. No, quite.
It's such a great painting.
But even since we've been in here, for me it's got better.
Yes.
Only because I've got more used to it, and
Well, I thought it would be moving for you to see it again, Lucian.
yeah,
after
it's
seeing it so
marvellous.
many
Thank you
years.
very much.
And,
No, it's
let's hope you can come back and see it. Repeat.
it's marvellous to see it again. Looking at it, I think, oh, that's the way to live, I think.